Hudson County View live and uncut. I'm your host, and what you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. John Heinis at another episode of Hudson County View live and uncut. So, first of all, we actually have a special meeting today in Jersey City at 4 p.m. That's going to be a special meeting on their budget. If you recall, their preliminary budget got approved in July, and that was for $695 million. This one's $724.8 million, and it's been a long road to get there. So we're going to discuss that. Obviously, this looks like it's going to pass without a ton of opposition, if any, but we'll go into the particulars on that. We're also going to talk a little bit about what's been happening in these Board of Education races. There's a lot of bad blood here in, of course, again, the Mile Square City, and we haven't said a lot about Bayonne and Jersey City, but we're going to try to touch on those as well. And we're also going to talk about what's been going on the municipal level, and today my guest is First Ward Councilman Mike DeFusco, a good follow-up to last week's guest, Paul Presenzano. So, we have a lot of things to talk about. The Hoboken Connect. We have a new ordinance that's in front of the council tomorrow night that would do something for the World Cup and the bar scene over on Washington Street and some of the adjoining streets. So we're going to chat about that, and of course a whole lot more. 2023, I'm sure will come up more than once. And beyond that, we're going to chat a little about a couple crime stories, seeing what some of the local police departments are up to. So all that and a whole lot more right after this. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, certified parts and service located at Route 440 and Communipal Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John Heinis. As I just mentioned a few moments ago, today my guest is Hoboken First Ward Councilman Mike DeFusco. Councilman, thanks for coming in.
John, it is good to be back. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been too long actually, but always good to see you. So let's talk about something that just happened, I believe it was September, but just a couple weeks ago, the Hoboken Connect project. We saw Governor Murphy, Mayor Bala, yourself, and a whole laundry list of electeds that were celebrating this addition to the First Ward. Most people used to know it as the Hoboken Rail Yards Redevelopment Plan.
Sure.
Almost 2 decades in the works, and finally it looks like we're at the goal line, if not even a little closer than that. So just tell us what this means to the First Ward and why you're happy to be a part of it.
I couldn't be more excited and proud of the work that we've done over at the Rail Yards, John. When I first ran in 2015, it was to bring new energy and new ideas to underutilized parts of my district. Thinking of creative ways where we can economically stimulate Hoboken and the state. And the Rail Yards project, now called Hoboken Connect, is a multi-million dollar, hundreds of millions of dollars investment by the federal government, the state, as well as Elcor, a preeminent developer internationally, to not only bring 20% affordable housing and world-class architecture to the train yards, but something I've promised now since that 2015 election, a European-style market at the train terminal. This is a place where makers, creators, artists, and innovators are going to be able to set up shop and, in a true collaborative environment, bring energy back to Hoboken. Hoboken was always a place where artists thrived, and in the last 20, 30 years, because of the costs associated with running a business in the Mile Square, they've had to leave. So the terminal is now going to be a centerpiece for art, for design, for urban renewal, but done in a way that's classy, that's cool, and that has an eye for the next generation of what Hoboken can be. It wasn't a small project, obviously, as you mentioned, it had been going on for 20 years, but working with the mayor, working with the governor's office, and quite frankly, working with anyone that would listen to us talk about our vision for the rail yards, we couldn't be happier in terms of what we're bringing to the First Ward.
It's very interesting. I mean, as you said, you got Elcor, you have the city, you have NJ Transit, obviously you got that $176 million from the state. When do you think they'll have shovels in the ground, or when do you think we'll have a completion here?
We're pushing to move ASAP, and the first phase of the development will be the terminal. It is essential to my neighborhood's quality of life that we are not putting more residential before we add the amenity spaces associated with the terminal building. Making sure that traffic and infrastructure is supported are all the first phase. So that's what we want to see in the next 2 years. And then in shortly thereafter, I believe that the residential components will also start taking effect. And I can't understate the importance of 20% affordable housing, John. Nowhere in Hoboken have we ever been able to assure the residents that affordability will remain with that level of commitment to moderate and low income residents.
Sure, yeah, definitely a big number by mile square standards for sure. So let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's meeting. As I mentioned, there looks like you got something up to. I know you've always been trying to help the bar scene since the bar crawl stuff, was still a problem. Obviously, not so much anymore. But now this is something that would give the bars a little extra time, be open for business during the World Cup. Just any color you could add on that.
Sure, I've been unanimous that the bars need to operate within our neighborhoods. We are a residential community, but we are also a community that thrives because of the energy of our nightlife as well as the energy of our small businesses. It's been a tough balancing act to ensure that the bars respect my neighbors and that my neighbors work with the bars to make sure that, especially post-pandemic, that we're all working together as a community. So really proud to put up a piece of legislation tomorrow that every 4 years during the World Cup, which as you know takes place 6 to 7 hours ahead of East Coast time, that bars would be able to open up in line with European time, enjoy a festive atmosphere respectfully, under the watchful eye of our, all of our public safety departments, but also celebrate a sport that is now not only internationally renowned, but becoming more and more popular in Hoboken. Soccer, football, whatever you'll call it, is a sport where we can all come together and support. So I'm happy to back the bars on this one, but also I cannot underestimate that my watchful eye is always going to be on quality of life and making sure that my streets and my neighborhood and that my residents are taken care of on that front.
This would be about a 9 a.m. open time?
I believe it's 8 a.m., about 8 a.m. open time. So you'll come and have a pint with me, John?
Sure, why not?
We'll get there like 7:55.
It's early, but for World Cup, I guess we could make one exception.
Done and done.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you may have seen last week I had Paul Presenzano on, of course,
Sure.
a supporter, First Ward resident, and a lot of people are speculating on 23. I mean, it's Hoboken, that's what speculation is over there, right? And he said, at the moment I have some interest, but my guy's Mike DeFusco, and until he tells me otherwise, I'm not doing anything. So what are your plans for next year?
Paul, listen, I am not going anywhere. I'm the city councilman. I plan on running for re-election next year. Paul is also my guy. I think he's done an amazing job at bringing our neighborhood, our ward together behind issues, having an additional voice working with me to vocalize areas where we could be doing better is always a welcome asset to any legislative body. So Paul is absolutely somebody that I think is a needed voice in Hoboken. There's been a number of speculations that because of my work schedule, because of my career that has really taken off in the last 3 years, that I may not be running for re-election. My hope is that I'll be able to balance both my professional career as well as my service to the First Ward and continue the amazing work that we've been up to over the past 7 years. From, as you mentioned, the terminal, to making sure that we acquire Union Dry Dock, to relocating the municipal garage, to public art, to finding $3 million to renovate Court Street. I think it's very hard to say that I have not been delivering first and foremost for the residents of the first ward. Politics, John, is always gamesmanship. I've been doing this for some time. I am very, very ready to defend my stance in any potential election in the coming year.
Councilman, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hi, I'm Joyce Waterman, your Jersey City Council President. Do you know there is a misconception about the Jersey City tax bill? As the Council President, I want it clear I'm only responsible for the city's budget. I have no authority over the Jersey City public school budget, none whatsoever. The last couple of years, the taxes went up due to the increase in the Jersey City Board of Ed budget. It has nothing to do with Jersey City. We need to come together and begin to make the Board of Ed accountable. Not only are our taxes unnecessarily high because of the increase in the school budget, but the United States Department of Education has determined that the state of New Jersey underfunded our district. Yes, we are underfunded. We, as residents, need to come together and raise our voice and ask the Board of Ed to be accountable and also ask the state to be accountable. I'm Joyce Waterman, and now you know.
Paid for by Jersey City. Make it better.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. John R. Heinis, and I'm still with Hoboken First Ward Councilman Mike DeFusco. So, Councilman, you gave me a lot more than I was anticipating. So we, look forward to seeing you seek that third term. Now, there's been speculations that you've been able to collaborate with the administration on things like Hoboken Connect, like some of those art projects. People are, there's a rumor propagating, I guess I could say, that you're going to be running with Team Bala. And is there any discussions about that? Any possibility at all?
Politics is the art of the possible, John. It's about how we build alliances. I can think of no oppositional force to the administration that had been stronger than me over the course of 5 years. It took a great deal of energy, both positive and negative energy, for me to wage that fight. I have found over the past year that I can disagree with this administration in a professional way, in a political way behind the scenes, where we have our voices heard, but it doesn't always need to be in front of the cameras. And I know the media and the public as a whole sometimes likes to see this unfold in front of the cameras. But again, I think from what we've accomplished together, Ravi and myself, we're stronger together at this stance, at this point in time. That is not to say that I'm going to be voting with the mayor every vote. I could already tell you a couple times, the public information officer at the last meeting, for instance, that I voted against the administration. And I said I didn't think it was a worthwhile investment of tax dollars. There will always be that oppositional force that I exude, but it is going to continue to be in a very productive, apolitical way. I want things done, I want them done fast, and I want to see Hoboken continue to move forward. I doubt I would run on a ticket with the mayor. I would, however, like to work with the mayor on making decisions for the city that are less political and more policy-based. So however the administration wants to handle that in the next couple of years, I'd be open to further discussions on.
All right, so you're taking a more diplomatic approach. I mean, look, it's been a wild ride, right? You kind of made your name, if you will, about being the chief opponent of the mayor. You guys had that really close mayoral contest, and now, you're at this point where you at least have a semi-cordial relationship, and no one would have guessed 3 or 4 years ago that could ever happen, right?
Well, I think you got to give us credit, right? Being in the public spotlight, running an election the way that we have run over the past many years, it's not easy to put the past behind you, John. But you have to give me credit, you have to give Ravi credit, the mayor credit, in putting those personal feuds aside for the best interest of Hoboken. And I don't see that happening in many places in politics, right? Statewide, nationally, but we're doing it right here in Hoboken. And the mayor knows this because I've enjoyed many a good conversation with him, that again, the past is the past and the future is what we make of it. And so that is what I want you to know. That's what I want my residents to know, that you're always going to have an independent in me. And I will always have new ideas that often verge from the administration. But I think that we're going to get more stuff done, more policy, substantive policy done working together. And if that changes, you'll be the first to know. But like, as of right now, I'm really enjoying the positive working relationship.
All right, crystal clear.
Yeah.
So another thing that was recent that you and I haven't discussed, I mean, not yesterday, but recent enough, you had this campaign finance case, the city clerk filed this thing and went on for years and years. Finally, we got a resolution a couple months ago where it was dismissed. This was the outcome that you told us that we would see. And how do you think this impacts 23, if at all?
From the day the campaign finance summons was issued, it was improprietous, and I think that the judge's decision clearly showed that. It just took 3 years, countless dollars to defend myself, and that's the kind of political nonsense that I want to take out of Hoboken politics. Because if you're attacking somebody like me for really having like a positive oppositional voice, who are we preventing? What young candidate are we preventing from getting involved in a future race, right? And I can't tell you, because any young person I talk to often says, Mike, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you deal with the constant punches? So that lawsuit was an abomination. Happy we've moved past it. The outcome is what we always knew it would be, that candidates are able to raise to the state maximums. It's not up to a municipality to determine what the maximums are. It's up to the state. So it's all been enshrined in state law for years. Unfortunately, I had to be the test case to bring this through the legal system, but we succeeded, and I think that the judge's decision speaks for itself.
All right, very good, Councilman. And finally, I know that you attended the Kids First Board of Education Slate fundraiser last week, so I was curious, is that an endorsement, or will there be an endorsement coming, and why or why not?
I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to officially endorse, but I will tell you why I was at the fundraiser. I believe in independents that stand up against the political infrastructure and the political class. The current Board of Education candidates that are backing the other slate, not Kids First, have been in power for 13 years plus years, and I just think that having independent minds on the Board of Education will be a simple check and balance to governmental spending. They will introduce new ideas, and I think both sides have great thoughts and great intentions for our school-aged families. It's just that I always think having a counterpoint in any legislative body is essential to democracy. There's also Pat Waiters, who's an independent candidate. I think the world of Pat. So I can't tell you if there'll be an endorsement, but I think independent candidates, we need more of them in Hoboken, on the school board, in the first ward, wherever you have an election. I think that there needs to be somebody that has an alternating viewpoint from whoever else is in power.
Excellent, Councilman.
John,
Let's not wait so long next time, but thanks for coming back.
I'll be back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be back after this commercial.
Pinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Pinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
This thing rips! Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. All right, now we're getting hairy. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. I super dig it. It's gonna be a good day.
Growing up can be tough on kids. So much is going on in the world that can cause depression or anxiety. Unusual behavior for more than 6 months could mean they need help. Don't wait. For real-time mental health support and counseling, call New Jersey's Children's System of Care. CSOC offers free mental health supports, substance use treatment, and services for intellectual or developmental disabilities for all kids up to age 21. Call now, 1-877-652-7624.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Bring 150 around front, please.
We designed the F-150 to be tough. And we delivered on towing and payload like you'd expect. We also made it smart, starting with an available hybrid powertrain. This engine also allows you to use your truck as a high-wattage generator. It's the kind of capability that a truck owner's really never had before.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John Heinis. So let's talk a little turkey in Jersey City. As I mentioned at the top of the program, they're going to be voting on the municipal budget today. It's $724.8 million. That's up about 25 or so million from that $695 million budget that was introduced in July. So just going over the numbers, that's actually $104 million more than last year's budget. That was $620 million. You recall in 2021, there was a $967 tax decrease per household assessed. It's $470,000 as a result of American Rescue Plan funds received by the municipality. Of course, that was the federal relief provided during the COVID-19 pandemic. So now this is interesting because when the prelim budget came out, it had a municipal tax increase of $1,030 per household. And as you guys are well aware, the city, which includes the mayor, Stephen Fulop, blamed a lot of this on the Board of Education. And granted, you know, some will say that there was good reason. They had a $974 million budget that came with a $1,608 tax increase per household assessed at $460,000. Now, of course, there are some, including those at the Board of Education, that argue those increases were necessary to fully fund the budget, and they're still dealing with massive tax cuts from the state that have been ongoing since 2018. There is a positive, a bit of a silver lining on the Board of Ed On the Board of Ed portion, last month they heard they were going to receive $89 million from the State Department of Education due to a provision in that American Rescue Plan that I just mentioned. So the municipal tax increase for the new budget wasn't immediately available. I'm sure we're going to hear about that this afternoon. And the thing about this is it actually took a lot of extra work, between the first reading and the second reading of the municipal budget. It's rarely 4 months, but this was a little different. Now, the city had to make an application to the local finance board to raise their cash deficit outside of the appropriations cap, as I reported last month. So the local finance board approved a $36,133,898 cap waiver at their October 12th reading. That's based on their agenda, and as well as the fact that the city could not move forward without first receiving state approval. Of course, the budget is expected to pass, but my colleague Daniel Yaloa will be there, and we'll have something up early this evening. So, moving on. As many of you have heard, and as was a popular topic on social media, at that meeting on Thursday, there was a settlement approved by the council unanimously, 9-0, a $925,000 settlement for a man that got his jaw broken and suffered other injuries after getting punched by a police officer during a dispute over his dog being off a leash. And we heard from Ward Councilman James Solomon. That was on his Instagram Live that he posted right before the meeting, and he said this shows the need for a CCRB, Civilian Complaint Review Board. So, quickly, one of the highlights that I mentioned is I know it's not in the news as it was a year or two ago, but the state needs to pass the CCRB bill, independent oversight to make sure investigations and discipline occur from civilians, not fellow law enforcement, and this is another example of taxpayer costs to that. There's a little more, but I'll let you guys read the story for that as we're running short on time. And the other big one, well, the really big one, I should say, was the affordable housing overlay that got approved on Thursday. This was a 7-2 vote. We saw no votes from Councilman Frank Gilmore and Councilman Rich Baggiato. That's of wards F and C, respectively. There was a motion to table where Solomon, Gilmore, and Baggiato voted yes. No such luck. A number of neighborhood groups came out against this. According to Councilman Baggiato, there were 15 neighborhood groups, which have thousands of members collectively, have come out against this, and there wasn't enough time, and they wanted to see the vote postponed. Obviously, that did come to fruition, as I just said. And, this is something that is a big adjustment to the inclusionary zoning ordinance, and we heard a couple council members say the reason they wanted to make sure that this was approved in short order was because the IZO was held up for 2 months. Of course, we saw the judge overturn that. It had to be redone, and it was a big mess. So I think most people are up to speed on that, but that's, of course, on HudsonCountyView.com. And actually, we're going to give you one before we go out of Secaucus. Now, there's a company that's called National Realty Investment Advisors, and we saw over the summer that they actually had a cease and desist letter from the state. Now, 2 of the top officials of the company were indicted for a $650 million Ponzi scheme, while a third pleaded guilty to their role. So Thomas Nick Salzado, 64, also known as Nick Salzado of Secaucus, and Ray E. Brigado II, 43, of Hoboken in the Republic of Philippines, are charged in an 18-count indictment that includes conspiracy to commit securities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. A third man in the scheme, he goes by the name Arthur Scatero, 62, of Nutley, and he's the former head of sales at NRIA, pleaded guilty to a conspiracy to commit securities fraud in the same scheme. This is something I've been following for about a year and a half. Salzado got indicted last late winter, early spring, and we've been talking to people, including cooperating witnesses, including to whistleblowers from other cases, and it's not surprising to me that this is the conclusion that we're seeing here. It's not quite over yet. We're going to see what happens with these 2 indictments. We're going to follow along very closely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to see you next week.